Pigmentation isn't aging. It's a sign your body is out of balance. I helped a 68-year-old woman go from visible dark patches to clear, radiant skin in just 20 days by healing the inside, not the surface. And in this episode, you'll learn exactly how. That skin changes aren't just cosmetic. They're warning signs of deeper imbalances you can still reverse if you stay with me through this entire episode. Here's something that should concern all of us. According to a 2022 report by the National Institutes of Health, over 70% of adults over 60 show visible signs of skin pigmentation disorders. Yet most are never assessed for underlying nutrient or metabolic issues. And that's the real danger. When we misread the skin, we misdiagnose the person. We delay care. We ignore early warnings, and what could have been corrected becomes something we just live with. I've spent decades treating patients, and I've watched these patterns unfold time and time again. But here's what I want you to understand today. Your skin might be the most honest mirror you have. It's trying to tell you something. The question is, are you listening? Let me ask you this. How can we treat what's on the surface if we ignore the root that's feeding it every day? We can't. If the root cause is still active underneath, no cream or treatment on the surface will truly work. It might cover the symptoms for a while, but real healing only starts when we go deeper. And that's exactly the trap so many fall into. Age spots, pigmentation, uneven tone. These are not random. They are patterns. And once you've seen enough of them, you realize they rarely come from the skin alone. So in today's episode, I'm going to walk you through exactly how that map works. We'll talk about the minerals your body may be starving for, the signals your skin is trying to send, and the most overlooked lifestyle habits that accelerate or reverse these changes. Most importantly, I'll guide you through a simple but powerful 20-day reset that supports your skin from the inside out, using natural routines that are realistic and sustainable. If you or someone you love is over 60, this is the episode to hear through to the end. Now, the symptoms might be real, but if we miss the cause, we misread the solution. I'm going to walk you through the invisible chain reaction between your liver, your diet, and the minerals that fuel your skin's renewal. Once you understand it, the mystery behind age spots disappears, and real change becomes possible. This reminds me of a woman I treated years ago. Diana, 68, sharp-witted, but clearly worn down. She came into my office tired of being told her dark spots were just sun damage or normal aging. After trying every serum and hiding behind makeup, she still didn't feel like herself. When we dug deeper into her labs, her diet, her digestion, we found low zinc, poor liver function, and broken sleep. Within weeks of making targeted changes, her energy came back. Her skin brightened. Her confidence returned. It completely changed how I see the skin, not as decoration, but as communication. That's the shift we all need. The skin doesn't whisper, it speaks clearly. We just have to learn how to listen. And that brings us to the real question today. What is the skin trying to tell us? And how do minerals, digestion, and internal balance shape what we see on the outside? Understanding the skin's language. The skin is one of the few organs we can see with our own eyes every day. And yet, it's the one most often misunderstood. Treated from the outside in, when the truth is, it heals from the inside out. Minerals like zinc, copper, and magnesium don't just support the skin. They govern its behavior, its ability to repair, to regenerate, to protect. So when you see a new dark patch or spot, it might not be just age catching up. It could be a sign that something deeper is slipping out of balance. And in seniors especially, that balance is delicate. Absorption weakens with age, digestion slows, and even if you eat the right foods, your body might no longer extract what it once could. That explains why so many older adults feel confused. They eat well, take supplements, avoid the sun, and still their skin worsens. No one's telling them their gut health or mineral stores might be the missing link. Which brings me to something critical. If digestion is where this all begins, how exactly does the gut and even the liver set the stage for what shows up on your face and body later on? The gut-liver-skin connection. The gut is where everything begins. Every mineral, every nutrient, every signal your body needs passes through it. If that system is inflamed, sluggish, or overloaded, even the best foods can't deliver their benefits. And the liver, which acts like your body's internal filter, can't properly regulate hormones or detoxify waste, both of which are critical for healthy skin. So even if you're eating the right foods, if your gut and liver aren't functioning well, those nutrients might never reach your skin. And here's what makes it worse. With age, your body produces less stomach acid and fewer digestive enzymes, making it even harder to absorb minerals like zinc or magnesium from food. I've seen patients who are low in zinc despite eating a zinc-rich diet, and it makes sense now why topical treatments weren't enough for them. So if absorption and detoxification are foundational, then maybe we need to start not just with what we're eating, but how well our body is prepared to receive it. Let's talk about the most overlooked signs that you're missing these key minerals, and what clues your skin is giving you before things get worse. The early warning signs. Your body gives quiet warnings long before the lab results catch up. With zinc, for instance, one of the earliest signs is poor wound healing. Tiny cuts that take longer to close or dry, cracked skin that never seems to soften. Magnesium deficiency can show up as restless sleep, facial tension, or skin that reacts strongly to mild stress or sunlight. So it's not just about how the skin looks, it's about how it behaves and recovers, the resilience of the skin. How it bounces back from stress, sun, or even weather changes is deeply tied to your mineral status. When that system breaks down, pigmentation, roughness, and dullness begin to settle in. I've had patients complain that their skin feels different, more reactive, more unpredictable, but they couldn't explain why. And most times those concerns were brushed off or treated with another cream, rather than looking at their internal chemistry. It really shows how easy it is to miss the early signs when we only focus on surface-level solutions. Now I want to move into something practical, because I know you're wondering what changes you can start making today, especially in terms of food and daily habits. What's the simple routine? Something realistic for someone in their 60s or 70s, but can give their skin and overall health a noticeable boost without feeling overwhelming. The 20-day reset. There's a simple 20-day reset I often recommend, and it works not because it's extreme, but because it's consistent. It's about removing chemical overload from the skin while nourishing the body from within. One of the first steps is eliminating commercial face products temporarily and using raw, natural alternatives that allow the skin to breathe and restore its own rhythm. Now, that's not something people hear often. Most are told to add more products, not stop them altogether. But when you stop layering chemicals and let the skin rest, it can finally respond to the internal improvements you're making. Better digestion, better sleep, better nutrition. And that internal work includes cutting down sugar, boosting protein, and starting each morning with warm lemon water. This really mirrors what I've seen clinically. Some of the best skin transformations don't begin in the mirror, but in the kitchen. And that challenge, just 20 days, gives people a manageable window to experiment, observe, and actually feel the difference. I think it's important to mention here that this isn't about perfection or a strict detox. It's a guided pause, a reset. Let me dig deeper now into the topical side of this routine, and then we'll talk about the foods that naturally support zinc, copper, and magnesium levels. A natural topical routine. One of the simplest yet most powerful routines is replacing your morning face wash with cold raw milk. It's gentle, full of natural enzymes, and supports the skin's barrier without stripping it like chemical-based cleansers often do. Pair that with applying a homemade medicated ice made from potato juice, milk, licorice, and lemon essential oil, and you begin helping the skin heal topically while supporting circulation and pigmentation repair. That's surprisingly simple, and honestly, it's more soothing than most commercial routines. When done consistently, especially morning and evening, it allows the skin to detox while giving the body a break from synthetic ingredients. It also makes me think about how many people unknowingly react to their skincare. I've had patients come in with stubborn patches or irritation, and they were layering 5, 6 products a day, never realizing their skin needed less, not more. It's empowering to know that going natural, even just for a few weeks, could reveal what's really helping versus what's just masking the issue. That brings us to what's happening on the inside during this reset. The nutrition, the habits, the specific foods that can restore mineral balance and support real skin change inside the body. The internal nutrition strategy. The first change I recommend is cutting down added sugar. Not forever, but for a focused stretch of time. Sugar interferes with collagen production, inflames the skin, and disrupts mineral absorption, especially zinc. At the same time, increasing high-quality protein helps restore cell turnover and gives the skin the building blocks it's been missing. This is something I don't think gets emphasized enough. How sugar and protein directly affect skin, not just weight or energy. Even small shifts, like replacing evening snacks with buttermilk or adding a boiled egg to breakfast, can support better repair and hormone balance. The key is to focus on nourishment, not restriction. I remember a patient who had been struggling with thinning skin and poor healing after minor scrapes. She wasn't eating badly, but once we looked closely, her meals were low in protein and filled with hidden sugars. Juice, bread, packaged cereal. After we made those simple swaps, she began noticing her skin felt firmer and even her sleep improved. Now, let's talk about fruit. Many seniors worry about the sugar in fruit, but vitamin C is crucial here. So which fruits support pigmentation healing, and which ones should we go easy on? Choosing the right fruits. Fruits rich in vitamin C are essential, not only for brightening the skin, but also for helping your body produce and preserve collagen. I usually recommend berries, apples, and citrus like oranges because they offer antioxidants without spiking blood sugar too sharply. But overly sweet fruits like grapes or mangoes can be harder to regulate for those with sluggish insulin response, especially if digestion is compromised. Many assume all fruit is automatically good, but it really does depend on the person and their current balance. 2 servings a day of lower glycemic fruits are usually safe and beneficial, especially when paired with a protein source. And again, the goal isn't avoidance, it's understanding how your body responds. That's the nuance people need to hear. It's not about labeling fruits or foods as bad, but rather learning how to use them as tools based on where your health is right now. I've had patients who cut fruit entirely, thinking they were doing the right thing, and ended up losing key antioxidants that could have helped their skin recover. So it's about strategy, timing, pairing, and consistency. Now I want to shift toward an often overlooked angle. How sleep, inflammation, and minerals like magnesium come together in this puzzle of skin healing after 60. Sleep, magnesium, and inflammation. Sleep is when the body repairs, but that repair process depends on magnesium. This mineral calms the nervous system, lowers nighttime inflammation, and allows the skin cells to regenerate without interruption. Without enough magnesium, you may fall asleep but never truly rest, and the body stays in a low-grade state of stress that shows up on the skin. That explains why some people feel exhausted even after a full night in bed. Their body never really shut down the inflammation, and chronic inflammation slows down collagen production and makes pigmentation more stubborn. That's why magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, seeds, and even a small piece of dark chocolate can play a surprisingly powerful role. People focus on creams for wrinkles or dark spots, but if their nervous system is constantly overstimulated, the skin never gets a break to repair. I've seen older adults who started sleeping better just by adjusting magnesium intake, and within weeks, their skin looked more hydrated and calm. It really brings us back to the bigger idea here. The body is always trying to heal, but it needs the right conditions. Now, I want to explore the flip side. What happens when people overdo it with supplements, especially zinc or magnesium, thinking more is better? The danger of over-supplementation. That's a growing problem, especially because supplements are easy to buy but harder to balance. Too much zinc, for example, can block copper absorption and trigger fatigue, joint pain, or even skin flare-ups. And excess magnesium, while rare, can disrupt digestion and lead to nutrient loss instead of gain. So even with something natural, there's still a threshold where it starts doing more harm than good. And that threshold is different for everyone, especially in older adults with slower metabolism or weaker kidney function. That's why food-based sources are usually safer. They're absorbed more gradually and come with cofactors that support balance. People often assume supplements are completely safe because they're natural, but the body still has to process and regulate them. I remember a patient who started taking a high-dose zinc supplement daily after seeing it recommended online. Within weeks, her energy crashed, and her skin actually got worse. When we pulled back and focused on pumpkin seeds, lentils, and small seafood portions, things finally improved. So how can you know if you're truly deficient in these minerals before jumping into supplementation? Are there signs you can spot even without a blood test? Recognizing deficiency without a lab test. Yes, your body often gives clues long before a lab result confirms anything. With zinc, it might be a change in taste, slow wound healing, or brittle nails. Magnesium often shows up in subtle ways too, like muscle cramps, poor sleep, or that uneasy, restless feeling that's hard to explain. Most people brush those off as just getting older. We normalize these symptoms, but they're often the body's early alarm system. And when you catch them early, small changes can make a big impact. That's the beauty of this conversation. It's not about fear or overwhelm. It's about listening to what your body's been trying to say. I've had patients in their 70s who turned their energy, skin, and digestion around with just a handful of consistent changes. Not prescriptions, not extreme diets. And it reinforces something I want to leave you with today. Real transformation happens when we focus on internal balance first. Final thoughts. True strength doesn't come from what you put on your skin. It comes from what you restore within. If you nourish balance, the body remembers how to heal. That's the reminder we all need. It's not about chasing perfection. It's about rebuilding trust with your own body, one habit at a time. If this episode sparked something in you, share it with someone you care about. And don't forget to subscribe to Dr. Carter's Senior Health Guide. Every week, I bring you stories and science to help you age stronger, live sharper, and feel more at home in your own skin. Until next time, take care of yourself from the inside out.